my first question to you. Did you expect the collapse of the Afghan state the way it happened? And what do you think is the reason behind this? And the role of Ashraf Ghani, the manner in which he left?
I don't think this is the right time to reflect on that massive tragedy.
I appreciate that, sir. We will talk about it on a later date. But then who do you blame for the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan and why? What do you think will be the ramifications of Taliban's Kabul takeover, both for Afghanistan and for the world? Do you think Afghanistan will become a breeding ground for terror?
It's very clear the Taliban were never under pressure in Pakistan. They used Pakistan as a support base. They were not having sanctuaries there. The whole of Pakistan was in the service of the Taliban. United States tried to incentivize the Pakistani cooperation to buy it. The more they paid, it more emboldened the Pakistanis to provide more services and more aid to the Taliban. So the issue of a nuclear state sponsoring terrorism and insurgency against our Western allies and the Afghan state was never addressed. The second reason is the Doha talks legitimized the Taliban. And the Taliban did not remain loyal to their words. They did not honor their commitments, and they fooled the whole international community. The purpose of the Doha office was to keep the international community divided, keep them hopeful for a peace process which did not exist, but they were investing on military conquest, and Pakistanis were backing them wholeheartedly, and it was an unwavered support. So that's reason 2. Reason 3, in the last 2 years, the Republic came under enormous pressure from our American allies. There came a time they blackmailed us. They said, if you either you release the prisoners or we will cut aid to you. We will decrease our military assistance to you. We will entirely cut it. And we said, are you sure these people do not end up back in the front lines? And their answer was no. Whereas they all ended up in the front lines. So it was not prisoner release. It was gifting the Taliban a division of highly radicalized fighters. And the fourth reason is there were people in our government who were not aware of the situation, who were taking everything for granted. And they were landed politicians. Anyway, again, it's not the right time to focus on that.
Yeah.
But we cannot confine it to these 4 reasons. There are numerous reasons which led to this tragedy. The bottom line is NATO is gone, U.S. military is gone, but the Afghan people are not gone, and the Afghan people cannot be evacuated. Kabul airport is tip of an iceberg. The country has sunk into a tragedy. Known terrorist groups have taken over Afghanistan. Today, for example, a money launderer who was facilitating transactions between Al-Qaeda sympathizers and the Taliban has become chief of the Afghan governor of the Afghan Central Bank. Haqqanis are running Kabul, and needless to explain who the Haqqanis are. This is a shame, and this is a betrayal, and I don't want to be part of that shame. I don't want to be part of that betrayal. We will fight. We will fight until the enemy believes and comes to a conclusion that Afghanistan should remain Afghanistan and it should not become Talibanistan.
Very rightly said there. But Mr. Saleh, you spoke about the American role. I'd like you to expand a little on that, the American attitude and behavior during this entire episode, and also their sudden departure, leaving behind such huge tranches of cash and also ammunition, which Pakistan has now carted towards Quetta.
They are watching what they did on TV screens, and they are seeing how the world media is now dominated by negative anti-American headlines. United States, the civilization, it's a global power. It's the mightiest military power on earth, and we never wished them bad. But this shows a single wrong political judgment humiliates a superpower like the United States. It wasn't ever about the American military or about the American intelligence. It was the wrong judgment of the politicians, and I think they have started to pay the price for their wrong decision.
Well, Mr. Saleh, I perused that agreement in Doha in September 2020, and the Taliban have not walked the talk at all, like you said. But there is no doubt that even the US miscalculated the Taliban threat. But you were part of the Ashraf Ghani administration. You were the first vice president. Why couldn't your officials assess what was happening on ground and warn everyone?
If a superpower decides to go this way or that way, there's so little or nothing we could do to change their attitude or change their direction. I do accept that I have been a major player and I still continue to be a person of significance. But did we have any say in the U.S. decision? Did we have any say in the U.S. way of negotiations with the Taliban? No, because they did take note of what we were saying, but we did not manage to influence their decisions. What is happening in Afghanistan, we have been warning them of these type of consequences for 2 years, but we were ignored, and they are paying the price. Afghans are paying the heaviest price, and they are paying the price in terms of their reputation, their credibility, and the weight of their word, and the value of their words, and the value of their promises. This was a political decision. It was not military decision. It was not intelligence decision. We remain grateful to United States people, government, for all they did over the past 20 years. But this one political misjudgment has brought about this fiasco. It wasn't the Taliban who won this war. It was the lack of political will in Washington which led this scramble to happen.
Mr. Saleh, you are in Panjshir. Panjshir remained independent even in the 90s. Even now, there is a stiff resistance that is being mounted there with you and also Ahmad Massoud, who are leading an army and resistance, and also the pride of the Afghanistan flag. But we are given to understand that the Taliban have sent hundreds of fighters towards the Panjshir Valley. Is everything all right?
It's perfect. We are in control. We are on top of the situation. I move around with minimum security. It's the people, and I mean this is an area which has an exceptional reputation.
Yes, it does, Mr. Saleh. We've seen pictures of you playing volleyball out there along with your people in Panjshir.